Big news from the motherland. We do have a brand new Volvo. This is the ES90, fully electric vehicle, and very interesting design because look at this. It's not a soap. It's not a bubble on wheels. This is a chiseled design, and even so, still has a much better range than the, bean-shaped EQE and the i5 as well. The i5 though is a little bit boxy as well. Before we jump in and have a look at what this is, I think it's a pretty cool vehicle, and I want to show you the design from front, side, and rear, and also the very, very, very cool sketches. Design sketches from the design team, taking some inspiration from the Bertone 780 Volvo from the 80s, I think. But before we do that, let's check out this short video, 2.5 minutes or something like that from Volvo, and let's see what this is all about.
Hi, I'm Haran, or you can call me Roy.
And I'm Jackie.
Hey, Jackie.
And this is the new Volvo ES90.
A fully electric premium car designed for a life in balance. It's the perfect blend of Scandinavian design, smart technology, and superior comfort, fully in a class of its own.
All you need is your iPhone, Android, or other compatible device, and you're good to go.
Powered by 800-volt technology, a first for Volvo, and with an impressive range of up to 700 kilometers, it gives you the freedom to go further on a single charge.
You see, when we designed the ES90, we set out to create a car that cuts out compromise, a car that recognizes and adapts to the diverse needs of its driver. By combining the refined elegance of the sedan and the flexibility of the fastback, we crafted the ES90.
I really like this integration of, you can kind of see it here. We're going to see it in more detail later in this video, but look at these integrations of the, I don't think I've ever seen this having the brake lights or the tail light, part of the tail lights, sort of part of the rear windscreen or rear window, and I think it's a very, very cool integration of how to do that.
And the flexibility of the fastback. We crafted the ES90 to help you make every...
Hold on. And check this out. Such a chiseled design. This corner right here, that's a corner, and this corner down here as well. These are lines that I just want to poke with my thumb and feel just how sharp and tight this shoulder line is going into the rear, and very Volvo design. This is what I love about Volvo, this sharpness that we have in the sheet metal of the car itself.
The journey is safe and more enjoyable. The ES90 confidently breaks away from the expected shape of a sedan with its high extended shoulder line.
Look at that.
The dignified front shield projects an understated confidence, embodying Volvo car signature style. And of course, it features Volvo's iconic T-shaped Swordshammer headlights.
They really make a statement, don't they?
Absolutely.
Sure do.
It's not just about looks. This high-definition pixel headlights adapts to the conditions outside, lighting your way without impeding oncoming drivers.
As your eyes move over the car, you'll notice how the ES90 exudes presence and balance. Its proportions are thoughtfully crafted for an impactful, yet understated appeal.
This new expression seamlessly brings together...
Hold on, is the roof? It's the same, it's a body color, right? It's not black roof here. No, it's body color. Okay, sorry about that. Let's continue.
Appeal.
This new expression seamlessly brings together aero efficiency with a balanced stance.
It has some of the best aerodynamics of a Volvo car ever, right?
Indeed. The roofline curve...
Look at this design. This boxy, sharp design has some of the best aerodynamics in the industry. So I think it's clear that we can ditch the bean shapes now and just design cool looking cars that don't need to look so ugly and strange for EVs.
Car ever, right?
Indeed. The roofline curves down to a hatchback tailgate, and the car then ends on these distinctive C-shaped LED lights.
Nice taillights.
All of this is built on a long wheelbase, 3.1 meters to be exact, designed not just for elegance, but to maximize interior space and comfort.
From the driver's seat of the ES90, you'll feel in complete control.
Then we come to the
refined
interior.
Cockpit features both a driver's display and a large heads-up display that gives you essential information without distractions or gimmicks. Meanwhile, the large freestanding center display features a modern frameless tablet design. And the ES90 comes with Google built in, making it as intuitive to use as your smartphone.
And that was the video. So the exterior looks great. I just Should I say it again, or should I just keep it to myself in this video? I'm not sure, but we can talk about that later when we jump into Photoshop. But first of all, before we do that, let's check out what this is from this article from CarScoop's. Gonna link it down below. Volvo ES90 takes on BMW i5 with more style, definitely more style, and more range. Liftback sedan comes with a choice of single or dual motors with up to 435 miles of range. Range is getting serious now. I mean, this is not bad at all. Top version gets 671 horsepower, can reach 62 miles per hour in 4 seconds for Volvo. It's pretty cool to see. The bigger 102 kilowatt hour available battery can cover, as we said, 435 miles. So it's designed to take on the BMW i5, and honestly, I mean, it's a pretty easy choice for me. Do I buy the ES90 or do I buy the i5? When it comes to styling, when it comes to grace, elegance, clean lines, you know which one I would buy. So you have the Mercedes EQE as well, among other options. The 5-meter long ES90 arguably looks better than both. I mean, it's not even an argument. It does look better than both, with a strong chin, clean surfaces, and sporty fastback shape. Though it presents as a sedan, it has a practical lift back. So it's called a lift back. Yeah, it's not a hatchback. So where it shouldn't come up short is in the interior room, particularly for those in the back. The 3.1 millimeter, 122.1 inches wheelbase is more than 100 millimeters or 4 inches longer than the BMWs, and the Volvo also wins the range war. Dual motor versions get the larger battery, and single motor models make do with a smaller 88 kilowatt hour unit that can still deliver 404 miles. I mean, that is, I think that's the base model, if I'm not mistaken here. So base model does 404 miles. Not bad at all. Unlike the EX90 SUV, the ES90 has an 800 volt electrics, can handle 350 kilowatt inputs. The i5 only takes 250 kilowatts, so this is going to be way faster to charge, which is a huge deal if you're considering an EV as a daily. You don't want to sit and charge for 45 minutes just to get home, and this can add 186 miles or 300 kilometers of range in 10 minutes. That's great. Now we're coming down to these numbers or time frames that I think is acceptable for even road trips, because 10 minutes, you go into the gas station, go to the bathroom, you get some snacks, and 10 minutes is up, and then you have 186 miles. So a small frunk provides space for cable storage, again, something that i5 does not offer. So here we have the full lineup here. We have the base 328 horsepower, single motor, extended range, cost about 69,650 pounds. Let's see how many dollars that is. So that's $89,780. So it's definitely not. Is that the base model? That's pretty expensive. 0 to 60 in 6.9 seconds. Then you have a 443 horsepower twin motor, drops the time to 5.5 seconds, 0 to 60, and that is 83,250 pounds. How much is that? This can't be right. I mean, these are crazy numbers. $107,000. That can't be right. So, but for only 4,600 pounds more, you can get the flagship twin motor performance with 671 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 4 seconds flat. All trims are limited to 112 miles per hour. I'm not sure if these are actually the prices or if it's, I don't know. It feels like that's way more expensive than I was expecting it to be. So the ES90 features a 9-inch digital instrument cluster, instruments tablet. They even call it a tablet now. A large 14.5-inch portrait touchscreen with built-in Google Tech. The sedan comes equipped with LiDAR for autonomous semi-driving, prominently mounted above the windshield. And here we can see the design. You can see the interior here. The steering wheel looks absolutely beautiful. I am not a fan, as you know, of the rest of the integration of the screens. They look like aftermarket pieces that they slapped on. I love that Volvo is putting the Swedish flag here. It's just a detail that I think it just makes it feel like Sweden is proud of these products, and I think they should be, because Volvo has always done just great looking cars. And the interior looks decent. The quality, the build quality is probably fantastic, and the material choices as well. In case you missed it, my 11-hour online class in design sketching is now only $47. If you have any desire to pick up the skill of sketching products using simple tools such as a big pen and cheap print paper, this is something you want to check out. Over the years, I've taught thousands of students from all around the world how to sketch cars and products, and most of them have seen amazing results from my classes. Analog Designer Pro Pack is the full bundle of all my classes I've released over the years, and it's yours for just $47. Check out everything that's included and see what my students have to say in the link in the description, or simply visit analogdesignerpropack.com. Let's jump in. Let's have a look at this design. First of all, I want to show you this. I just love these sketches. Doesn't necessarily need to be in the video here, but I just want to show you the 780 Bertone up top. One of the coolest Volvos of all time. It was a two-door, this thing. And it has this very boxy shape that I love about Volvos of this era. You can see the clear separation of the top half and the lower half here back in the day when they did that properly. And you can see sort of how they took inspiration from that into the new ES90 with the Thor's hammer lights. And look at this beautiful, this is stunning. Look at how everything is connected. This is great design. You can see this line coming down here and then creating this line that goes sort of where the grille is supposed to be on an internal combustion engine, and then just sweeps up into the shoulder line right here. Very, very beautiful looking design. And you also have this large opening in the lower section for the cooling. You have the pixelated lights now as well. You can see the rear end, I think, feels like here you can clearly see the sort of inspiration from the 780 up top. Look at the stance of this thing. I love how the designer here just put some proper wheels on this and really planted this vehicle on the ground. If you take your 780 Bertone, if you lower it a little bit, put some fat wheels on it, it is a stunning looking machine. And here you can also clearly see again sort of the inspiration for the ES90. You can it feels like the rear end is definitely more in line with the 780 Bertone than the front end here. Now looking at the real thing though, so my first thought when I saw this was it sits pretty high, and that is what you get when you're designing EVs today, because you have the battery pack, the big battery pack in this case, 435 miles of range. You gotta have a big battery sitting down here underneath in the floor underneath there, so you need to have that space in addition to the interior space. You don't want to reduce that just because you have a battery. But looking at the front end here, love these indents. These are the type of indents I want to see in a hood, not the ones that we have in the new A6 or the ones that we have in BMWs, which looks way too static for me. And even though this has more of a product design feel now to it, it still looks very clean. It has this Scandinavian simplicity to it, but it doesn't mean that they removed the identity of Volvo, and that is not an easy thing to do. When you have this few key graphic features in the overall car, and also a few lines, it's very hard to create a strong identity for the brand. But I think Volvo has just nailed it, and that has partly to do with these Thor's hammer lights in the front end. I mean, this is, when you see this at night, there's no other car that has anything close to the graphics that we have here. And then in addition to that, you have the sort of fog lights down there as well. And here you can again see this beautiful line that goes in here through the headlights and then up into the shoulder line. And you can see how this shoulder line then sweeps all the way back in one single line, looking beautiful. You have the LiDAR up here, sort of for the autonomous driving, just looking forward and checking out what's going on with the traffic. Looking at the side view, and this is by far my favorite view for this vehicle. I think the side view of this, it looks properly planted, this thing. I don't even think it needs to be lowered or anything like that. The wheels sit nicely within the wheel wells here. This is a very, very important line, this one right here in the middle, because as I said, it sits so high, it's so tall, and it feels a little bulky if we did not have this line in the middle. And we also have this in the lower section being blacked out to, again, visually remove some of this mass that we have in the lower section that then continues into the rear end. And this, look how beautiful this is. how all these lines, the shoulder line, which is one single continuous line from the front end into the rear, and how they all meet in this area, in this corner right here. And we talked about this in a video. This area right here is an area that I really like, and it's something Volvo has done great for many, many years, since the XC40, I do believe, was introduced with this line, or this sort of surfacing that we have here. This is just a stunning, beautiful surface that has this nice sculptured feel to it. It looks beautiful. The wheel design looks great as well. Thankfully, 435 miles of range, you don't need to cover up the wheels. You can have standard looking wheels. You know, it's not going to affect the range too much, apparently, since this has one of the best range in the industry. I also like that we have blacked out graphics around the greenhouse here, looking beautiful. Black side mirror as well. Beautiful, stunning looking design from a side view. You can see the rear end graphics here as well. Now, the rear end looks a little stubby to me. I feel like I want to extend. I'm not entirely sure what I would like to change here, but there is something about the rear end that feels like it's cut off a little bit too abruptly, and I think I want to extend the rear end a little bit further out. Because you can see here, usually what happens with a car like this, if it's internal combustion engine, is that this area right here, this D-pillar in this case, usually is sitting right above, in the center, right above the rear axle. So now everything has this fastback design, which is practical, of course, because it gives you a lot more space in the back, but it also gives it this sort of stubby looking design. But here you can see the integration of the taillight design inside of the window in the rear end. Something I don't think I've seen that before, something completely new, and just how clean everything is. The taillights look beautiful in this case with this black housing around it, and you have this line here as well, proper house for the license plate right there, Volvo spelled out. This is something I wish Volvo would never take away, because these chrome Volvo letters is just part of Volvo's history now, and something that I want to see in every single Volvo moving forward. Now, last but not least, we do have the interior. Now, looking at this, I'm not biased or anything like that, but I think that Volvo, since it has this very minimalistic, simplistic styling all over, it has a continuity about it, even exterior design, the graphics, and now also the interior. This is one of these vehicles that sort of suits it maybe to have this type of interior, but it doesn't matter. I still want to have a housing for this, specifically this gauge cluster. Looks way too exposed here. It feels like this is just an aftermarket piece, you know, one of these aftermarket Apple CarPlay devices that they just put on the car and call it a day. It doesn't feel like it has a home in this interior. And same goes for this big screen here. But the good news here is it feels like they almost brought back this floating center console, because behind the screen you do actually have some storage, which is pretty cool to see. I still want to have the physical knobs and buttons for the climate settings, even though everything is now these days integrated in the screen like we're used to seeing for every single car. But the material choices and the styling in here feels very, very elegant and very clean. I do like the vents, how they go in parallel lines like this, beautiful. And we also have probably this entire piece up here is probably all soft touch material, which is what we want to see. Steering wheel looks great as well, beautiful. Not too many buttons, not too many things to distract the overall flow and the simplicity of the design of the interior. It looks like a very simplistic steering wheel to me, but still very, very elegant as well. So overall, I think Volvo's done a great job with this, but I'm still confused though. What is Polestar now? What separates Polestar from Volvo if Volvo is starting to, spit out all these EVs now? What exactly is it that makes Polestar special? I think they should probably merge. What I would like to see is sort of Polestar being the AMG or the M division of Volvo. They used to be sort of that, but they did make a bunch of prototypes back in the day that really never went into production. But I think that would be a very, very cool thing to see if Polestar could become the performance department of Volvo moving forward. I'm looking forward to see the new EX90, I do believe it's called, the new EV SUV from Volvo. Is probably going to be very beautiful as well. But overall, the ES90, beautiful looking design.